You should all see that row of large green heads, busts, each located on their own rectangular plinth. David Letterman once famously remarked that these were the Pez Head Hall of Fame. Of course, they're not actually the Pez Head Hall of Fame. Those are the merchant princes of Chicago, sort of the founding business magnates of our city. Aaron Montgomery Ward and Marshall Field have busts here, to name a few. The whole merchandise mart was built for the Marshall Field Company as a consolidated office and warehousing space. And they wanted this gargantuan warehouse built here because just ahead of us lies Wolf Point, which is the confluence of the three branches of the Chicago River. The main branch behind us, where we began our tour, joins together with the north branch to our right. They combine to form the south branch to our left. It is down the south branch you would find the canal, the Mississippi River network, in the Gulf of Mexico. And if you look around us, here at Wolf Point, we are surrounded by new, dynamic construction. To the right, well underway, is Wolf Point East, a residential tower that should be finished next year. It'll be joined, starting next year, in the center gap by Wolf Point South, about 985 feet tall, about twice as tall, basically. And they'll both combine with this green residential high-rise from 3.5 years ago, Wolf Point West. Compare these new residential designs with the office towers ahead of us. We have 150 North Riverside on the left, the building with that tapered base from 1.5 years ago. We'll talk about that building at length in a moment. And then the one straight ahead of us, which, for the life of me, looks like a giant McDonald's apple pie box. That is River Point, designed by Solomon Cordwell Blades and Associates. These are all buildings of the contemporary design philosophy. Contemporary is sort of the current era in architectural design. It's all about sleek glass and steel structures, environmentally friendly focus. Sort of the iPhone of architecture. Everything's meant to fit together very well with these sleek designs. And the presence of these new contemporary designs around here at Wolf Point shows us that today, Wolf Point is where Chicagoans want to live. It's where Chicagoans want to work. But it wasn't always that way. For most of the city's history, Wolf Point was the industrial shipping hub for the town. You built warehouses here, like the merchandise mart, not residences. And while times have changed, we can still see echoes of this industrial heritage all around us. Take, for example, the red brick building ahead of us on the left. That is the Fulton House, designed by Frank Abbott. It was a cold storage warehouse built 1898. I think it's very appropriate that the oldest building we'll see on the tour today, the oldest building on the Chicago River, is still a warehouse. Rather, it was a warehouse, because that's what our town was all about. Today it's a residential structure. The building was reimagined, was renovated in the 1970s by architect Harry Weiss. You see, to make this building a cold storage warehouse, they stuffed the 4-foot thick walls with frozen horsehair. And that got a little disgusting. The smell was apparently unbearable. But don't for an instant think that horsehair was a poor choice. When Harry Weiss was hired to oversee this building's transformation from warehouse to residence, he had to let the building thaw out for 4.5 months before he could start. Horsehair is a marvelous insulator. It's just not the most hygienic choice. He punched large holes in the exterior wall to remove that moldering horsehair. Those holes became the windows and balconies we can see today, which is why if you look carefully, you'll notice they're all different sizes from one another. It's why they're also offset. They weren't originally meant to be windows or balconies. This is a great example of adaptive reuse, basically taking something older, rehabilitating it, making it usable again. A warehouse, which is now a residence. Working on this building's renovation gave Harry Weiss a profound respect for the river. He saw in its potential where others had been turning their backs on it. He wanted to embrace the river. And so just a few years later, he came back to this site to build these triangular townhomes right next to his renovated Fulton House. These are Harry Weiss's river cottages, and they embrace the river by reflecting nautically themed features back at it. As we pass them, you'll see circular, porthole-like windows, a private riverfront dock, boardwalk-esque lampposts, widow's watches instead of proper balconies. Even the triangular shape was meant to be evocative of a sailboat with sail unfurled. That theming, stylistically, is known as postmodernism. If modern architecture is austerity, then postmodernism is a joyful exuberance. It's about having fun, playing with designs. A barbecue restaurant shaped like a cowboy hat would be postmodernism. A parking garage that looks like the front of a Rolls Royce, postmodernism. Riverfront townhomes inspired by boating, postmodernism. Playing with a theme that suits the purpose and or location of a structure. Now, as we have passed underneath the Kinzie Street Bridge, we are going to take a moment to begin spinning the sky view around so that we can take you folks down the south branch of the river behind us. And as we do spin the vessel, this is an excellent chance for you to stretch your legs, maybe head back, visit Richie at the bar. He is serving up all sorts of liquid libations to titillate your taste buds. So feel free to visit him. This is also a great chance to come up to me or wave me over to you to ask me any questions you might have about the city or the tour so far. I'm happy to talk to you folks now, and I'll be resuming my narration on the microphone as we complete our spin and pass back under that Kinzie Street Bridge. Thank you.